Jim Thorpe says mega carriers have figured it out, that it's cheaper to lease them than to purchase a tractor for drivers. The way all the maintenance problems and the pollution devices and loss of revenue is on the driver now by leasing it to them. Plus, new tractors cost 30% more, mostly because of pollution devices, and the engine warranty is half of what it used to be without pollution devices. There is no upside to owning a new tractor nowadays, and the bigger companies know it.
Well, that's a lot of unpack. Let's get through all the good, bad, the ugly, and let's make sure that you know the reality, or worst case scenario, our opinion on this approach. So, I got some good news. We are not a mega carrier. Huh?
Not yet.
We are on your side for now. For now, that may change because we're gonna go big or go home. I guess that's the plan. All right, so I think it's actually a very emotional comment. At the end of the day, I think it's also pretty easy to unpack because business is business, money is money. Not everybody is actually using that approach, and also that comes from potentially individual. We don't know this individual here that's commented that, but it may come with a lot of emotions. Maybe he's been in one of those lease purchase programs that he disliked.
Yeah, but I mean, to start off, let's go with all the big boys like the mega carriers. You got, the Walmarts of the world, the Prime, CR England, all these big boys that are using these newer trucks, obviously. Mm-hmm. They're not all 100% lease to purchase. So I would agree with the comment if that was the situation, but they're not that. Like, I wonder what the real number is as far as lease to purchase proportion of how many trucks to how many they actually own. So you're not really offsetting any major cost there.
Yes. Also, don't forget some other stuff. Like right here it says 30% more, mostly because of pollution devices. That's actually not an accurate number. It's about not 30%. It's 30,000. So the new EPA things are gonna add on $30,000 to the cost of a truck. But let's now look at the price of a truck. Most of those mega carriers, the trucks are being built specifically for them around their exact description.
Right.
So that means that all the bells and whistles, all the funny buttons, all the little details,
sensors and all that stuff,
sensors, luxury items, and everything else will be adjusted to it. So I can see, because most of mega carriers, we are selecting workhorses. We're selecting what matters and we unselect what doesn't matter. Plus we have this bulk pricing. Mm-hmm. So I can see $30,000. It's so easy to get lost in that with just some leather seats, premium audio, and everything else, and all those pollution devices may not even be there. Also, what I heard actually yesterday on the news, didn't the Trump signed all the EPA restrictions to be like null and void? Not all, but like. That would be relatable to this.
Oh, so
I actually heard on the news again. Like there is a lot of BS news out there, so you never know. But I actually heard that he's really attacking that. That may not be a thing. So don't get lost in the emotional part of that.
Well, it also comes down to, like you were saying, these mega carriers when they spec out these trucks, right? It's more than just the trucks. So we were having a conversation this morning about something very similar. Manual transmission and automatic, right? Why do we want automatic, right? It's not just automatic and we're going to listen to the old school guys who love the manual, but we need to gain market share. So these guys that are looking to fill these seats and find the new truck drivers coming in, like the Primes and CR Englands of the world, it is so much easier to just make automatics, and now your market share increases. What's good of having a parking lot full of manuals?
And look, as a matter of fact, like I've been a driver myself. I drove automatic truck for a very, very short period of time. Most of my life I have spent in the 13-speed manual transmission. That was my thing. So I never liked like Super 10. I never liked straight 10. I was 13-speed guy. Mm-hmm. That was my thing. And back in the day when the automatic transmissions just came out, man, I had a few friends that bought those new trucks. And man, we had some problems.
Yeah, but
I had the guy being towed off the railroad crossing because of a stupid sensor went off.
Wow, shit, there you
So
go.
that's not a good business. However, the couple of things changed since back then. We're talking about super early 2000s. I'm talking about like 2001, 2002, 2003. So I've been around for a moment. I know I look good, but you know, I've been around for a moment. So anyway, going back to
this, a mega carrier is going to be worried about miles per gallon.
No, but yes, and if we go back to all the same friends of mine, the same from like 2001, 2002, 2003, they're still around. Most of them are owner-operators. Some of them, they have their own trucking companies. Some of them have bigger trucking companies, smaller trucking companies, or they just like one truck owner-operator living happy life. I don't think any one of my old school guys that were talking shit about the automatic transmissions with me, I don't think anybody has a manual transmission these days.
Yeah. I mean, there's several reasons, whether personal choice, but I stand behind, like, man, let's say you're growing a trucking company, you have 5 trucks. Finding drivers is a needle in a haystack.
Yes.
It's a problem. What would you rather do? Look for guys that can just drive and it's a manual, or now you want that guy with the 13-speed, manual specialty?
And
it becomes harder, man.
Look, and I can add another thing. A lot of these guys that are talking shit about people driving automatic transmissions, if you would jump, in the passenger seat and be like, all right, let me see how you shift. Man, that would be a little embarrassing. I'm not saying it would be totally off the rails, but there would be a little bit here, there.
Right.
It would be a little bit of that, and so maybe you're not as good as you think you are. And automatic transmissions are going to help you on fuel. It's so much easier to drive that truck in an automatic transmission in the traffic, through the cities. Man, it's just like the mountains, uphill, downhill, there is a little bit there. There is a little bit of truth there. And still, I'm not an automatic transmission guy, so my experience is very, very limited. But based on the information that I'm gathering from my old school guys, who are actually in the trucks right now, today, in a freaking 2 inches of snow, somewhere in freaking North Florida, we choose automatic transmission. Holy crap, is this real? $4,000 a week in this market, guys? This is not a joke. We got plenty of owner-operators in this market taking home $4,000 a week every single week. So if you're interested in something like this, we're located right here in Mulberry, Florida, just a few miles south of Lakeland. Give us a call, 863-342-5171, because $4,000 take home after all the expenses, that's nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, so then when we jump to something like this and when we're speccing out these trucks, like, I think these bad boys, fuel is, if not the most, is definitely up there, most expensive cost to your business. Fuel is the most expensive part of your owner-operator business, no matter what. So the decision-making about this is going to be based around that, cost savings.
Yes.
It's actually the opposite of what Mr. Jim here is talking about. It's not to, burden somebody else with the cost.
And also, Mr. Jim here, what he doesn't know, besides the cost and the other details, I think there is a little bit of cost. I think it's mostly not with mega carriers. I think it's mostly with those smaller mom and pop trucking companies that also do lease purchase.
Yeah.
At least mega carriers, they offering you some either new or pretty new trucks with warranties and everything at a very, very high cost. With little moms and pops trucking companies that do lease purchase, a lot of that, I would argue, there is a lot of truth there.
Well, yeah, because at that point, you just got to see, like, you're recycling a truck that, first off, we never believe in the lease to purchase programs offered by a carrier. So let's get that out of the way. And because that truck is just going to get recycled, man. No money down, sign here, sign there. Who's actually driving that truck? Are they taking care of it as if it's their own? Do they even have skin in the game? Walk away lease. Well, that just means he don't give a shit for the most part. Because
also, let me tell you, like, I know everybody watching this video and saying like, oh, I'm not the bad guy adding to the bad situation. I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. I just want to pay the bill. I want the bill to be reasonable. I want to get a good truck, and I want to run a good business, right? Unfortunately, the reality is a lot of these trucks are being recycled from hands to hands to hands to hands, because most of the people getting into these programs, okay, there is a huge portion of these people who are like been with Schneider for a million years and we don't know anything else and we don't want to know anything else. But especially the people getting into the smaller trucking companies into lease purchase, what is the main attraction there?
Easy.
Sign and drive?
Yeah, sign and drive. Easy. Let me start my business.
No down payment, sign and drive. And what is the reason we want that specific scenario? Because we don't want to have any strings attached. And the chances of a lot of these trucks being abandoned at the first sight of difficulty in business is a very high. So that carrier who actually started that program potentially, seeking for mutually beneficial relationship to where, all right, we'll get you an easy sign and drive, and you're gonna help me to fill the gap with a parked trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Then the cost of those trucks are going up and up and up, because every time it gets recycled, it needs to be prepped for a new driver. It needs to be inspected. It needs to be a lot of times towed in, repaired. All these things need to be done. And who's going to pay for it? It starts adding on to the cost.
Yeah.
And I think this is how it gets out of control. And at some point, again, like, we are not doing lease purchase, so we couldn't care less, but I've seen a lot of horror stories. Even if you got a clean truck, right, that's been through 25 dirty hands, how confident would you be in that truck?
No, yeah, man, and I mean, it just starts with the payment. Like, just take a look at that. Some of these guys, man, I see anywhere $1,800 a week.
Yeah,
I've seen it all, man. I've seen it all. Like, that's astronomical for an owner-operator.
Yes, and now we're comparing it to like one of the vendors that we work with, Lone Mountain.
Right.
That's a payment for a month.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, this video is not about Lone Mountain. Forget about it. But that's just an example. $1,800 a week, $1,800 a month. That's a huge difference. One is mission possible, another one is mission impossible.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially if you're getting not a newer truck.
All right, so at the end of the day, that's what we wanted to do here, was unpack this bad boy right here. I don't necessarily think that they bought these trucks to offset costs to other people, and that's their business plan. Like Mike said, it kind of evolves into different things. Maybe their intention was never even to lease to purchase these bad boys and couldn't find some drivers and had to think of something alternative.
Again, I think this is very emotional comment. I think for the most part, that the chances that we bought it for, to push the cost onto an unexpected driver is slim to none, because if it's tough for them to manage the cost in one set of hands as a single party investor, do you think the same very expensive trucks that at the end of the day that carrier is still financially responsible for until the day we paid, do you think it's going to be managed better in a lot of different people hands who are looking for easy, no commitment sign and drive?
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think at some point, to Jim's point, that truck will pay for itself, but that's a long ways ahead. And would that truck even last that long? I mean, I don't agree that that's a
and also
a good business plan.
And also, you know what? Instead of being pissed at the mega carriers, we don't like them too. So stop screaming at the screen. But the mega carriers, don't go work for mega carriers. Go to a dealer, buy a truck. Go to a dealer like Lone Mountain, lease purchase. Do a lease purchase. Keep the carrier out of that, because that's going to be a better business. Because if you're going to decide to go to a different carrier or whatnot, you're free to do so.
Yeah. And then, now you have some freedom. You got some elbow room, and ideally go to those trucking companies, 60 trucks, somewhere around there, just like we are. That's a good idea. And you go from there, start your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. It is not that bad. There is no conspiracy there. It just, if you start adding up the money, we do add up. Hopefully, I'm right about that $30,000 new EPA standard slash off. I'm just not sure how is that going to work, because I'm sure like Canada, but Canada is very small. It's a huge country, but it's very small in terms of number of people. Because I just thought for a second, like, the same markets, the same trucks are being sold to U.S. and Canadian markets.
Okay.
And I was just thinking, man, like, would we slash even if the decision was made to slash those regulations in the U.S., if Canada not going to do it, then it's going to be harder to resell these trucks to Canada or whatnot.
Right.
But Canada is like just like a pretty, average size U.S. state, the whole Canada.
Yeah.
So it's not a very big market share. So I think that's out of the way. And if those CPA regulations get slashed, enjoy the 4 years of opportunity window and get yourself a nice truck without any of those regulations. Because I'm sure, or whatever may change, and if those regulations will be added on again, is that going to add chaos to the industry? Yes, but we're going to be grandfathered in. You're not going to go wrong with those.
And so here we go. So Jim, don't be a victim by not participating. Other than that, my people, please drive safe and be safe. Talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.